Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is Sunday, July 4th. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules, as I'm sure you'll be busy for the 4th with your families. But I do appreciate you joining me this morning for our Shotsuki monthly memorial service for the month of July. My name is Reverend Candace Shibata, and I welcome you to prepare your home obutsudan or your home altars, if you do in fact have one, by lighting incense or lighting your camera, or lighting your a candle, so that you can participate fully with me at home, and of course including chanting along with me as we do our recitations and that kind of thing, so you can feel like you're with me here at the temple, even though we're distanced and you're still at home. But again, thank you so much for joining me this morning. So as always, we will start our service with the tolling of the bell, and this bell allows us to hear a signal that we will be starting the service together. And it's maybe a reminder, or again, a signal for us to really quiet our minds, quiet our bodies, and be in this very moment together, be present to be able to hear and receive the Buddha's teachings, as we call the Dharma. So please take a moment with me to sit during the kancho, or the tolling of the bell. So thank you for sitting with me during the tolling of the bell. And, as I was ringing the bell, needing to be in this present moment, but I was also thinking how long it feels that we've been together. So it's only been maybe a few weeks since we've actually been together, since the last service that we had with our Sunday school, Dharma school students. And it just seems like it's been a really long time that I've seen everybody. So I hope that you've been well, and healthy and well, and enjoying this time during this small little break during summertime. And I've missed being with all of you, so thank you so much. So we'll continue the service with the opening meditation, which, as always, has been prepared by Darlene Bagshaw. So Darlene, without further ado, thank you so much. Please join me in Gasho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Okay, thank you, Darlene, for the beautiful reminder of our Obon season and all of the good memories I think that all of us have of the season as well. Okay, so we'll continue the service. Let me share my screen with all of you. Okay. So I'll share my screen so that we can continue the service with the chanting of Sambujo. And Sambujo is called Three Respectful Callings. And we chant Sambujo to welcome Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and the Buddhas of the 10 directions to be present today. And with each calling, we respond together with the words San Ge Raku. And that means that we're welcoming them. And as I mentioned before, we scatter these flower paper petals to welcome their presence, especially during services such as this. Okay, so please join me in Sambujo, and this will be followed by the Hyobyakumon, or the dedication of this service, stating why we're gathered here today. And of course, that's to honor and remember our loved ones who have passed away in the month of July. And those names will be read following the dedication of this service. So please join me in Sambujo. Bujo Mida Nyorai Niudo Jo San Ge Da Ku Bujo Shaka Nyorai Niudo Jo San Ge Da Ku Bujo Jibon Yorai Niudo Jo San Ge Da Let us pause for a moment and turn our hearts in aspiration to the Buddha of infinite light and life. On this memorial service, we have gathered here in memory of the following people who have passed away. They are Kikue Abe, Mitsuko Adachi, Stephen Kazuo Adachi, Hiroshi Asai, Patricia Dixon, Fred Dobana, Aiko Fuji, Mike Fuji, Ryo Fuji, Yoshio Ben Fuji, John Takashi Fujiki, George S. Fukuhara, Mitsuno Harada, Den Ikeda, Shizuko Ishihara, Betty Yoshiko Ito, Nobuhiro Kajioka, Kameko Kamigaki, Sakae Kawanishi, Jack Norimasa Kimoto, Kazuko Kitagawa, Tome Koga, Lucille Midori Kumimoto, Tashichi Makino, Phil N. Matsumoto, Ayako Matsune, Masatoshi Mitsuhashi, James Akira Miyamoto, Douglas Tomisaburo Mizuno, Tad Mizuno, Ayako Morita, Masajiro Murata, Shigeru Nakaoka, Taka Nakashima, Gerald Matsuo Natsuhara, Susumu Nishikawa, Tama Nojiri, Roy Akira Ota, Chieko Okazaki, Evelyn Norimi Okubo, George Okubo, Yoshie Sagara, Kenneth T. Satake, Otomatsu Shiba, Haruko Shibata, John Kazuto Shimobayashi, Sakae Sugi, Sumi Sugi, Marshall Sumida, Jane Taeko Tahara, Seisaku Tanaka, Chitose Taniguchi, Masaichi Tateyama, Toku Togo, James C. Tominaga, Sam Torigoe, Grace Tsunekawa, Sueko Watanabe, Sei Yagi, Pete Kazuo Yamada, Takeshi Yamada, Aiko Yamanaka, Ken Yasui, Chizuko Yoshida, Henry Yamashita, Chuzo Yoshimi, A. Kawahara, Ryan Kawahara, Raymond Kawahara, Asato Okamoto, Wesley Matsumoto, Hiromi Norikane, Sei Oto, Sakiko Oto, Hideo Oto, Tetsu Ito, Kanekichi Ito, Sato Ito, Yoshiko Sugimoto, Take Hasen, Minoru Hirotsu, Jerry Akio Sakata, Isamu Ikeuchi, Masae Nakayama, Misao Nakahara, Sadako Okada, Jane Matsumoto, Takeshi Kawahara, Yae Kusaba, and George Iseri. Those who have departed and those who still remain, meeting again in spirit upon this memorial service. On this occasion, let us seek spiritual values to give meaning to a grateful and fuller life. May the boundless and supreme light of wisdom shine within our hearts and minds and guide us to follow the true Buddhist way of life in deepest gratitude. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Naman doubts, naman doubts, naman doubts, doubts, naman doubts. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me in Sambujo. And as we remember our dear loved ones and friends who have passed away, we will continue the service with the chanting of Jusege for today. Okay. And Jusege is translated as 3 sacred vows. So please take this opportunity at home to hear and receive the Buddha's teachings through the chanting, and also feel connected with one another as you chant along with me at home, and as it resonates and reaches all of us, so that we can also praise and give thanks to these teachings as well. So please join me in the chanting of Juseke today. Gagun chosegan Ishimu jodom Shigan fumanzok Seifujo shogak Gao muryoko Fumi dai seshu Fusai shobingu Seifujo shoga Gashi jobutsudo Myosho chojipo Kukyo mishomon Seifujo shogak Ryokujin shonen Joei shubongyo Shigumu jodo Hishoten nishi Jiniki and daikon Fushomu saido Shoujo sankumyo Konsai shuyakunan Kaiichi again Meshi konmoan Heisoku showakudo Tsudatsu zen shumon Goso manzok Iyodo jipo Nichigatsu shujuki Tenkon pugen Ishukai hozo Gosei kudoku ho Jodai shuchu Seppon shishiku Kuyo isaibut Gusoku shutoku on Ganeshi tsujoman Tokui sangai yo Nyobutsu mugechi Tsudatsu mi fushon Gangaku eri Toshi sai shoson Shiganya kon Namanabu, Namanabu, Namanabu. Ganishikudoku Byodo Seisai Donmo Daishin Audio on Namanda 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 Namanda. Okay, thank you for chanting along with me at home. Please join me in the recitation of the three treasures. And in Buddhism, the three treasures are the Buddha, the Buddhist teachings called the Dharma, and the community of Buddhist followers called the Sangha. So please join me by placing your palms together for the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony and a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavats. 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 Okay. So I'd like to take this opportunity to share my Dharma message for the month of July. Okay. So to begin my Dharma message, will you please join me by placing your palms together in Gassho. Shakyamuni and Amida are our father and our mother, full of love and compassion for us. Guiding us through various skillful means, they bring to awaken the supreme Shinjin. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavats. Namandavats. Okay, so thank you again for joining me as we observe our July Shotsuki Memorial Service. And, this month of July, of course, we think about the 4th of July as we're joining today. I always think about Leanne Yu's birthday, so wanted to give her a shout out as her birthday is today. And as children, we grew up together, so of course I remember her birthday. But the month of July and of course August, and I think just the summertime in general, allows me to continue to reflect upon the meaning of Obon season and what it means to me. And Obon, for maybe some of our Dharma friends who are joining us today, the Obon is a time for us to really think about our past loved ones and all of their contributions to our lives that they have made. And it allows us to really celebrate that as we gather for our temple celebrations and Obon Odori, or Obon dancing, our folk dancing, and of course the wonderful foods and cultural exhibits and performances that we have at our temple bazaars. So as I mentioned before in my Dharma message, Obon really is one of my favorite times a year to be at the temple. And I do have very fond memories, as I was talking about before, about growing up here, specifically in Stockton as well. So as I became a minister, Obon started to have a different meaning and a different feel for me as well. So my first assignment when I became a minister was at the Berkeley Buddhist Temple. And I wanted to share with you one of my first experiences for the Obon season at Berkeley. So as a minister, that Obon weekend for my first Obon in Berkeley was fairly busy. So I had 5 different services. At that time, of course, we were still gathering at different cemeteries to pay our great respects to our loved ones. And so I had 5 different services. In one particular cemetery, had quite a few, and then there was another cemetery that I went to, and we did one service over there. So since they were my first cemetery visits in an area that I didn't really know in Berkeley, I wanted to make sure that I got there in enough time so I would have enough time to get to each specific place I needed to. So again, this was my first time as a full-fledged minister. So if you can imagine, I was quite nervous. So again, I arrived a little bit early, just so I could drive around the cemetery to the 4 different locations at this particular cemetery called Sunset View. And as I drove along the grounds, very slowly, I was driving around just remembering these specific locations that Reverend Matsumoto, my mentoring minister, had showed me before we transitioned from Reverend Matsumoto to me. So as I was driving, all of a sudden, this deer popped up out of nowhere from the woods and onto the little path that I was driving on. And she came out from this nearby wooded area. And I think both of us, we scared each other because we kind of locked eyes, and it is true, like a deer in headlights. We both kind of stopped and were startled. We looked at each other, and she slowly walked to the grass that was on the other side of this little path. And again, I think my nerves were already a little shaken, and with that encounter, I got even more nervous. Again, because this is my first year as a minister, and I took these responsibilities of conducting these services very seriously because they are important to us to remember our loved ones. So I continued driving around again, trying to remember the locations that Reverend Matsumoto had showed me during the end of the previous year. So I circled around the same path one more time, and again, all of a sudden, this deer pops out of this wooded area. And so again, she and I locked eyes, but I realized it wasn't just her. There was a baby doe following close by, right behind her. So I watched in amazement, and time just kind of stood still as she constantly turned around to look back at her baby to make sure that her baby was okay. So I continued on my way again as we passed each other, and then they just started eating the grass that was on the other side of that pathway. So in that instance, if you can imagine encountering this deer not once but twice, I felt a calm come over me. You would think I'd be even more nervous because of this encounter, but there was a calmness that kind of came over my body and in my mind. And I think I was more aware of everything that was going on around me. I let my nerves kind of settle down a little bit and was able to notice the birds flying by, the noises around me, the little squirrels that were even running around on the grass, kind of playing. And so I think what that moment allowed me to do was to be in that present moment, to allow me to be in that present first moment, then to go off to those other three locations and to be with the people who had gathered with me. So I think, again, this is a wonderful opportunity, this Obon season, to really take a moment to settle our minds and our bodies and to really think about our loved ones in this Obon season, but of course, for this July Shotsuki monthly memorial service. And this also allowed me to really be thankful for maybe all of those people and those causes and conditions that allowed me to be able to be a minister, considering it was my first assignment at the Berkeley Buddhist Temple. So for those of you that can recall, and maybe for our Dharma friends who are with us who haven't been able to experience an Obon festival, it really is a time for us to celebrate Japanese culture as well, and wear our yukatas, which is like a summer kimono that's a little bit lighter weight, and maybe our happy coats, and be able to dance together. And so many of us really dance because it is very joyous, but again, it allows us to really reflect upon those individuals. And we just had the Cortez Hawakai, their virtual Obon, and again, it was a wonderful reminder of still being able to be together in that celebratory sense and be together even though we were on Zoom. So also while I was in Berkeley, I continued this tradition that Reverend Matsumoto started by making paper lanterns. And I did do this for Stockton's Obon last year. And this was to remember those loved ones who had passed away during that previous year, which is called Hatsubon, so their first Obon service. And during my first year, Reverend Matsumoto and his wife Diane, they kindly helped me prepare those, and we were able to print the name of the individual who had passed away and their Buddhist name, or Namo Amida Butsu, the characters for Namo Amida Butsu, and of course the date of their passing as well. And I finished them by gluing them together. So I just wanted to share a couple of examples of those from the ones that I had from last year. So this is from one of our members who had passed last year, and of course it has the name of the individual, the Buddhist name, and the date that they passed. And then these are the characters of that individual's Buddhist name. And if an individual didn't have a Buddhist name, or say, for example, they didn't have a funeral service, what we ended up doing was putting the characters of Namo Amida Butsu. So this is the name of the Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu, here on their paper lantern. And we were able to put a tea light and light these lanterns up as we remembered our past members. So again, as I was gluing these together, some of those names on those lanterns, especially during my first year at Berkeley, unfortunately, I didn't have the pleasure of meeting them prior to their passing. However, since I began my assignment at Berkeley, I was able to get to know many of the members during my assignment there. And so some of the surviving family members, I did get to meet, and I did get to know their loved one in preparation for their service. So as I glued each of those lanterns, I looked at the individual names, and I reflected upon my meeting with their family members and how they so lovingly spoke about their past loved ones. I also remembered their funerals, the ones that I was able to conduct, not on the duties that I had to do in regards to that service, but how much each family member expressed their love and gratitude for their loved ones in their own special and unique way. I was able to get to know their loved ones through how they see them, with their eyes and with their hearts and minds, how they've connected, and the relationship that they shared. And it really has been an honor for me to sit with them and share in their grief and to comfort them in their grief, and to be with them during some of their toughest days. And because of this, and because of my opportunities to even be with you and your families when you've lost somebody, it really is an honor for me to learn about your family members through each and every one of you as well. And so, as I mentioned, this lantern also has a little tea light underneath it. And I think that these lights that are put in these lanterns, and even all of the lights that we see here on our onaijin or altar, they're very symbolic in regards to a Buddhist tenet that we commonly talk about in our everyday services. So I think for many of you, you can light candles at home, and you can even visualize that the candles represent impermanence. And we light them and we snuff them out. And this is really symbolic of this impermanence in our lives, as we know that everything is always changing. And we know that human life is also impermanent as well. And so, even though we talk about this impermanence when we think about the candles and the little tea lights that are put underneath these lanterns, we can think about the light as the light of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion for us as well. And this light, like a flashlight or a candle, lights and guides our way every day in our lives. The teachings are always there, accessible to us, especially during our darkest days when we need that light and guidance and compassion when we truly are struggling. And so I also like to think about these lights and these candles as our loved ones. And so when we think about this July Shotsuki Memorial Service, when we think about the Obon, we can think about lighting a candle. And when we light this candle, think about the warmth that we receive from it. And this can even represent the warmth that we receive from our loved ones before they passed away. And we really are so very fortunate to have them. And so, although, again, I know that these candles, they eventually burn out, and our loved ones must pass away, but there's a light, I think, that gets passed on and shines within us and is continuing to guide us, continuing to keep us warm inside, and allows us to really continue on, even though our days might seem dark without them. So as I mentioned in my opening meditation or my opening statement, this actually is one of my favorite poems too from Shinran. And Shinran Shonin said, Shakyamuni and Amida are our father and our mother, full of love and compassion for us. Guiding us through various skillful means, they bring us to awaken the supreme Shinjin, or entrusting heart. And we may or may not always have good relationships with our parents or our loved ones, but there's still this learning that we can learn from them as well. Even with maybe friends or family members, we might have falling outs and we might have tough days with our loved ones as well. But I believe that there is still Dharma teachings in every single relationship that we have. And I think even if we might have troubling times with them, this statement says that there is love and compassion. And there's various skillful means in which they teach us about the Buddha's teachings and awaken our entrusting heart as well. Through love and compassion, even through maybe troubling times that we might have. So again, there's so many different learning opportunities that we can have and awaken our entrusting heart as well. So thank you so much for letting me share just a few thoughts and memories of my ministry and Obon, and of course our loved ones as well, as we remember and honor and celebrate them today and through this Obon season. So please join me to conclude this Dharma message. Namo Amidabutsu. Namo Amidabutsu. Namo Amidabutsu. Namandabutsu. Namandabutsu. Okay, so I'd like to share my screen one last time so that we can have one additional recitation before we conclude. Okay, so this is the Jodo Shinshu Creed number 2. Please place your palms together with me in Gassho as we read Jodo Shinshu Creed number 2 together. I affirm my faith in Amida's infinite wisdom and compassion. Reciting the sacred name, I shall live with strength and joy. I shall look to Amida's guiding light. As I reflect upon my imperfect self, I live with gratitude for the perfect compassion which surrounds me at all times. I shall follow the Buddha's teachings. I shall understand the right path and resolve to spread the true teachings. I rejoice in Amida's wisdom and compassion. I shall respect and help my fellow beings and work for the good of my community. Namo Amidabutsu. Namo Amidabutsu. Namo Amidabutsu. Namandabutsu. 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 Okay, announcements. Okay, so we do not have a regular Sunday services through the months of July and August, but we do resume in September. So please continue to join us though for the Shotsuki monthly memorial services during the first Sunday at 10:30. Okay. We are so fortunate to be able to have our Obon and Bazaar, but those will be virtual. And so we have wonderful programming on August 7th in regards to the Cultural Bazaar. And we'll have that starting at 2 p.m., I believe. And we will be streaming that on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. So please feel free either to follow us on YouTube or like us on Facebook if you do in fact have a Facebook account. Please support our raffle, and if you would like to donate any prizes, please make an appointment to drop off any prizes that you might have for the raffle. We also have a t-shirt sale to commemorate this year's Taste of Obon, and we will be having a pre-order food pickup on August 8th. And we have that information on our website, and you can do that online as well. And so we're moving everything online. So please join us for those celebrations. Let's see. We will like to make an announcement regarding our reopening, and they're coming in phases. And so we would like to announce that as of July 15th, the office will be open, and the Nokotsuro or the columbarium will be open for visitations. And we do have some guidelines that we would like people to adhere to when they come and visit, which includes making an appointment before you come. And we did send out an email to our members as well. So if you would like to visit your loved ones in our columbarium, please make sure to give us a call to make that appointment, okay? And we will be venturing in to additional phases of our reopening of the temple, which will include other areas of the temple as well. Okay, we do have our Obon and Hatsubon, our our first Obon service for many of those members who have lost a family member within this last year. And our guest speaker will be Reverend Todd Suchia. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is it the 25th? I don't have my calendar here. Yes, thank you, Ruby. So that's the 25th. And again, that will be virtual. So those of you who already received this link, you will be receiving the link to join us on the 25th at 10 a.m. as well. Okay. I'm doing this off the top of my head. So are there any announcements that I might have missed? So please feel free, Darlene. I see you there.
Lindsay, did you want to, since we have combined service, you have Walnut Grove's Hatsubon at 1:30 on Sunday, the 18th, correct? For Walnut Grove?
Yes.
And then I don't know when Lodi's is, so.
Oh, Lodi's, we are doing it on pre-recorded. So that will be available on Lodi's YouTube channel after July 15th. Yep. Thank you. Did I miss any important details for the bazaar or Obon, Taste of Obon? I'm okay.
We just have lots and lots of ways you can support us. So we have the pre-order form online and it has been emailed out. Ruby created a flyer that also has information on the virtual portion and the t-shirt sales, which can be ordered online or in person. Raffle tickets are available online or through a member of the temple or contacting the temple office. And we also are having a silent auction. This website will be 32 auctions. We're still in the process of getting that all set up, but we will blast it out to all the members. And again, if you're interested in seeing, we have homemade futons, several of them. We have giants. We have a signed Buster Posey ball as one of them. We have a Taste of Stockton basket that has everything about Stockton in it. We have gift cards. We have Imari dish, a pachinko machine. We have a whole array of things for you to bid on, and that will start, and we will post that link at our Obon service as well. But that will start on 9 a.m. on July 25th and run through August 13th at 9 p.m. So we hope you will partake and find something fun to purchase, or you could just sponsor the temple if you like.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks, Darlene. Yeah, I forgot about the auction, so I apologize. And if you can imagine, again, we really are. I'm trying to fundraise virtually since the bazaar is usually our biggest fundraiser. So thank you so much, everybody, for your donations already and all of your participation. And it's not too late to donate or purchase things online. So thank you again in advance for all of your support of the temple. Okay, so thanks so much, everybody, for taking time out of your July 4th weekends to join me as we remember your loved ones and our dear friends for the month of July. So hopefully we'll see you at our Obon service, and then maybe, of course, some of our Walnut Grove members at your Obon service as well. Okay, so thanks so much, everyone. Please have a wonderful, safe weekend, and please continue to be well. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody.